The Kindest channel is back, and last session I promised you the show-offs. 7 defendants who spent everything on looking good and kept nothing for the rest. This is not a nature show, this is court. The best dressed one in the room is the one who cannot leave it. You will recognize yourself about 5 times, and that is not a coincidence. No experiments on the intern, buckle up. No lecture at the end either. First to the stand, a bird who cannot really fly and fires that under fashion. Peacock. Opening the case file. Every animal on this docket wears everything it owns, and one of them wore it into extinction. The Indian peafowl holds about 5 feet of tail behind a 3-foot bird, roughly 200 eye spots printed across it, and he grows the entire thing fresh every year. Then he molts it off in late summer and leaves it in the dirt, the way you left a gym membership in March. He can fly, technically. Badly, briefly, mostly straight up into a tree, which is about as much flying as you manage in a rented tuxedo. A fox hears him coming before it sees him, and he has made peace with that. So have you. You buy the part that shows, and get to the part that works later. He grew the tail and never got around to the rest of himself. Exhibit A. The commute. We put a low wall across the yard, a ball of grain on the far side, and asked him to go get it. He looked at the wall. He looked at us. Then he ran the length of the yard, screamed once, and got maybe 4 feet of air before landing on the table with everything he owns dragging behind him. Impressive. Our intern picked up a dropped feather and put it in his own hair, which is the closest anyone in this building has come to a race. Minus a point. And that grain ball was mine. That is exactly how you walk the week you buy something you cannot park. The verdict of the Kindest channel. All show 3 out of 10. He carries 5 feet of tail he throws away every August, and when the fox arrives, he treats it as a review. Next. He grew a hat so wide it walked him into a museum. Irish Elk. The dossier. Megaloceros wore the widest antlers any animal has ever worn, about 12 feet across, somewhere near 90 pounds of bone, and he grew them again every single year. 90 pounds, annually, out of his own head. A bull spent his whole spring eating just to grow headgear he would drop in the fall and start over, which is how you do every January. He needed calcium the way your Monday needs a fresh start. And around 7,700 years ago, the ice stopped handing it out. His at least grew back. They keep finding him in the pit, still wearing the whole thing. Exhibit B. The doorway. We drove 2 posts into the snow, 8 feet apart, and set a cart of moss on the far side. He measured the gap the way you measure a couch against a stairwell, and then he went for it anyway. One time then the other, and a 90-pound crown turned a 15-foot bull into a coat rack in a narrow hallway. Behind him, the intern pushed and learned what the word leverage means. That cart had my lunch on it, and it is now upside down in a snowdrift. In that same gap, you once stood with a couch, swearing at a stairwell. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Overdrawn, 2 out of 10. He rebuilt 90 pounds of bone every spring and never once asked what it was for, and nobody ever asked you either. Next, a defendant who put half his body weight into one hand and now eats with the other. The hand you are holding your phone with. Fiddler Crab. Opening the case. 1 claw on this animal runs up to half his entire body weight. Honestly, I checked the figure twice. Half. And it cannot fit him. It is far too big for the job. So he eats with the little one, at half the speed of every crab around him, while the big one just hangs there being large. He weighs it at the mudflat a few hundred times an hour. The thesis holds on the mudflat too. He cannot put it down, and he cannot eat with it. Lose the big one, and it regrows on his other flank, while the little hand swells up to take over. Your phone works the same way. You cannot put it down, and you cannot eat dinner with it. So you hold it all evening. Exhibit C. The mirror. We propped a small mirror at the mouth of his burrow, which is the cheapest experiment this program has ever run, and stepped back. He waved. The mirror waved. He waved harder. For 11 straight minutes a grown crab courted himself with the most expensive limp on the beach, while the tide came in over his groceries. Impressive. Our intern tried to move the mirror and got pinched by a hand that cannot even carry food. There are 9 takes of the same photograph still sitting in your gallery, so sit quietly. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Empty hand, 5 out of 10. Half his weight sits in a hand that has never once brought him lunch, and he still waves it, with roughly the face you make handing someone your new phone. We take a short recess, because the mail came. Segment The Mailbag. Paper. An actual stamp. From Loretta in Tulsa, and I will read it as sent. Dear sir, your program is cruel. I keep a rescue peacock named Duchess. She has never harmed a living thing, her tail is magnificent, and she comes when called, which is more than my son does. You owe her an apology. Loretta, my apologies. Duchess is not on trial, her tailor is. And she comes when called because you carried the grain. That is not loyalty, that is a subscription. But I will say this for your bird. She never pretended the tail was for anything. The watch on your own wrist does the same job, and you tell people you bought it for the movement. Keep them coming, and the reason you are still here is the scale, not the birds. Back to the case files. Frigatebird. Opening the file. This is a seabird that cannot land on the sea. His feathers are not waterproof, so the ocean is a floor he is not allowed to stand on. Or rather, he is allowed exactly once. What he does have is a scarlet throat balloon, and inflating it takes him roughly 20 minutes, during which he is not hunting, not moving, and not available. 7.5 feet of wing on a 3-pound bird, and he spends the good hours holding his breath. 20 minutes to get dressed. And then he cannot leave the rail. Late because of your hair, the two of you have already met. Exhibit D, the 20 minutes. We asked him to inflate on camera and we timed it, because this program respects a schedule. 19 minutes and change, and I will admit the red is genuinely spectacular. Then a gust came off the water, the intern's windbreaker snapped like a sail, and the defendant grabbed a fistful of nylon and would not let go. Not because he wanted it, but because letting go meant deflating in front of us. He held that jacket for 4 minutes. When he finally deflated, he did it slowly, exactly the way you climb out of an argument you already know you have lost. That windbreaker did not survive, and it was company property. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Overdressed, 4 out of 10. He spends the best 20 minutes of the morning inside a balloon, and then goes hungry on schedule. And your morning runs the same timetable without the balloon. Next. The only defendants today who did the work first, and I did not enjoy admitting it. Stag Beetle. Opening the case file. A third of this animal is jaws, and here is the part that ruined my afternoon. His bite is weaker than the female's. Hers is small and mean and gets through wood. His are enormous antlers built for shoving other males off a branch, and that is the whole job. Before any of that, he spent about 5 years as a larva inside a rotting log, eating dead oak in the dark, and then came out as an adult with a few weeks to live. 5 years of work, 3 weeks of outfit. Your resume says hard worker, and you did it in exactly the opposite order. Exhibit E, the arm wrestle. We set my mug on the log to hold the papers down and put a rival male at the other end. The defendant sized him up, locked those jaws under the other beetle, lifted him clean off the bark and set him down in the moss facing the wrong way. Polite, almost. Then he turned around, got the same grip under my mug, and walked it off the edge of the log. Not malice. Wrestling is simply the only thing those jaws do, and the mug was in the ring. Nobody touched the intern this time, which after 5 episodes counts as an event, and he walked around proud as if he had earned it. Praise from a stranger holds you up about that long too. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Acquitted. 8 out of 10. He ate dead wood in the dark for 5 years, and only then grew the jaws. Your sign went up long before the 5 years of dead wood, and that is the whole difference. Next. A face that cost him nothing to grow and everything to lose. Mandrill. The file. On this animal, the face is the rank. The brightest blue and the reddest stripe belong to the male at the top, and the color is not decoration, it is the badge. And the whole troop reads it correctly from 30 feet. He also carries 2.5 inches of canine, which he shows far more often than he uses. Here is the cruel part of the arrangement. Alright, this one made even me wince. Lose one fight, and the color drains out of his face within days, in front of everyone, whether he feels like announcing it or not. Your headline stays up for a year after the layoff. His does not. Exhibit F, the color chart. I said this morning there would be no experiments on the intern. I want that on the record before I describe what happened. We printed a paint chart, blues down one side, reds down the other, and I sent the intern in to hold it beside the defendant's face for the comparison. He got the chart up, he got it level. He said, and I quote, "Which one is he?" The defendant, who reads a face for a living, took one look at a stranger holding colors next to his rank and answered in the only language the badge accepts. We will get a new one. There is plenty. And you would have asked the same question, just louder and in front of more people. The verdict of the Kindest channel. All badge, 6 out of 10. His color is honest, which is more than most of this docket, and it turns him in the week he sleeps. Last to the stand, 2 tons of defendant who spent his nose on the argument. Elephant seal. Opening the case file. A bull runs to about 4,400 pounds against a 1,300-pound female, and the difference is almost entirely argument. That hanging nose is a megaphone. He inflates it and roars down the beach so the other bulls can hear the size of him without walking over. Then he holds his patch of gravel for 2 months without eating and burns off roughly a third of his own body. And about 9 out of 10 males on that beach never breed at all. They grew the whole apparatus, spent the whole season, and went home with nothing. Those same odds play out in your own gym every January, and you renewed anyway. Exhibit G, the property line. We drew a line in the gravel with a stick, which the defendant took as a survey dispute. He reared, inflated the nose, and produced a sound I can only describe as a truck being told no. Then he came. 2 tons of him, moving across wet stones far faster than the shape suggests, and I would like it noted that I retreated first, and the new intern retreated better. The line is gone. The stick is gone. He is asleep on the spot he defended, having eaten nothing for 6 weeks. The last time you thought about a parking space, you did it hungry too. The verdict of the Kindest channel. Broke. 2 out of 10. He spends a third of his own body on a shouting match, 9 out of 10 of them lose anyway, and sleeps on the gravel he won. That exact argument is sitting in your group chat, typed by you. Court adjourned. Court adjourned. 7 show-offs, 1 acquittal, 1 intern down, 1 mag walked off a log. The one we cleared is a beetle who ate dead wood in the dark for 5 years and then spent 3 weeks looking magnificent. In that order. Everybody else here put the outfit on first and read the small print in the fall. The peacock leaves his in the dirt every August. The elk grew 90 pounds of bone until the ice age ran out. The crab is still waving a hand that has never fed him. And here is the line I asked you to hold on to. The best dressed one in the room is the one who cannot leave it. The beetle could leave. He had already done the 5 years. And you watched the whole episode about other animals' antlers without once looking away, which means you recognized somebody. Next session? The things in your own kitchen. Products that spent everything on the label and nothing on the inside. Subscribing costs you nothing and grows back every year, unlike the tail. The Kindest channel rests its case.